everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Riverfront. This is the world's most dangerous podcast where we discuss the Cincinnati Reds and, on occasion, Jason Marquis. Not really on occasion. That's probably the only time we'll really ever mention him ever again. I'm Tim Daniel. I'm hosting the show this week, and I'm very excited to be here as we are now just 7 days away, people. Mark it, 7 days. Well, this goes up on Friday, so then it'll be 6 days away from opening day when the Cincinnati Reds will take the field next Thursday at 4:10 p.m. against the San Francisco Giants with Hunter Green taking the bump. We are almost through spring training. The Reds yesterday wrapped up a 7-game losing streak with a 1-0 win in spring training. Today they do lose 11-8, but it was a game with a lot of excitement. There is some news to get to from today. So I'm really excited to talk about that with you guys. But before I do, obviously, word has gotten out, and I want to make sure I address it real quick. Yes, I am going to be wrapping up my services with the Riverfront in the near future. I was offered an opportunity to go to Locked On Reds and work alongside Jeff and Steve. And it was just too good of a situation to say no to for the sake of myself and my family. So it was tough. It was a really, really difficult thing to kind of go through. But, you know, it's really an honor to know that people wanted you enough and thought of you when opportunities arose. So I'll be doing the Locked On Reds postcast after every Reds game, just a quick 10, 20 minute live show. Just chatting up with you guys, recapping the game, talking about what happened. And then Jeff and Steve will kind of go into the full deep dive. I'm just kind of reacting to the box score and talking about some highlights of the game. So I'm really excited for it, but I want to make sure I talk about the Riverfront because without the Riverfront, I am not given this opportunity. My time here has been unbelievable. I've been such a fan of Chad's for years. I'll never forget in 2010, 2011 when Chad followed me on Twitter and I was so excited. Then he unfollowed me, but he followed me back a couple years later. That was really cool. And then when I had started Late Night Reds in the previous form, Chad was a guest on the show a couple times. When that ended, Chad obviously reached out to me to see if I wanted to come to the Riverfront and bring my show with me. And I immediately said yes. I was actually shooting promo work to go back to Believe the day Chad messaged me and said, all right, well, change of plans, guys. We're going to the Riverfront. And we shot something right then and there at the Reds Hall of Fame. So that was really cool. Nate became one of my very good friends. Just someone that I really loved being shoulder to shoulder with, someone who always bounced ideas off. And, you know, him and Katrina just had their beautiful baby girl. And they're on the up and up there. So I'm so happy for them. I love that family so much. So I'm super excited for them. And then obviously Ben and Seth are guys who Ben I've known, you know, since I was 18 years old. And Ben and I will probably still find a way to work together. I don't know what he's going to do here at the Riverfront, but I know that he's always going to be open to being on Reds podcasts or other Reds podcasters out there who would like to have him as a guest. I know he'd be happy to do it if he has the time. And then Seth has done such a great job with our like roundtable and with me and him kind of keeping us afloat while Chad and Nate are out figuring everything out with their personal lives. It's been a lot of fun working with Seth as well. I also want to make sure I mention that this is not just it. If you're checking out Welcome to the Jungle right now with Owen and Caroline, they are killing it. Caroline's now been with us for about 3 or 4 episodes, and she's an excellent entity to the company. She does such a great job with Welcome to the Jungle, gives a great analytics as far as being an actual athlete. She's a soccer player at the University of Miami, and Owen is, I don't know, Owen dropped in my lap, I feel like, and he's just been incredible to work with. He's a sponge. He's really educated, and they have another fun show coming up there soon with Mike McLaren called you're going to be hearing about soon. If we'll be talking about that, just like a fun show they're going to do over there as well. So, and of course, Riverfront U, all those guys are busting their tails out there covering games. So I didn't want to miss to take up the whole episode. I just wanted to say thank you, of course, to Chad and Nate, to everyone, to Bill Lack, you know, to Chris Garber, and everyone involved with the Riverfront. And of course, everyone who subscribes, everyone who listens every week. So Sunday, Late Night Reds is going to be my last one. I have let them know if they want to keep Late Night Reds and go another direction. They 1,000% can. I am more than happy to pass that on. But that will at least be my final one. So again, thank you to the Riverfront. Thank you to Chad and Nate Dotson for everything you did for me. And thank you to all of you. I mean, this has been a dream come true to be able to cover the Reds at a site like this. And I'm really excited about the future, but I'm nowhere near where I don't get a shot with Locked On Reds if the Riverfront doesn't happen for me. So I just want to make sure I did express my gratitude before we moved on and talked about a little Reds news. So yeah, with that in mind, let's get away from this happy stuff. How's March Madness going for everybody today? Sorry for our University of Louisville faithful who follow the shows. I know that is not great today to lose to Creighton. They got a bad draw, and then they didn't show up in the bad draw they got. Yeah, they should have been much higher than an 8 seed. Creighton was a tough matchup for them. I've been watching Creighton for years in the Big East. I know how Greg McDermott has his team ready to go. Ryan Kalkbrenner, obviously a really good player. So shout out to our Louisville faithful. I'm really sorry that today did not go your way, but Pat Kelsey is the dude and everything's going to be all right there. I promise you that. And then I know Sydney is a big Clemson person, so sorry about that as well. Really kind of the biggest bummers of the day, but I think it's March Madness. It's a beautiful thing. My Xavier Musketeers have a shot tomorrow against the Illinois Fighting Illini with a shot to potentially play Kentucky. So to the Hunter Martins and the Brandon Kamicks, if that does happen, I will talk to you in 2 weeks because I don't know how I'll react if the game actually happens. So I love March Madness. It's such a great, great time. I hope everyone's been enjoying watching games. But let's get to some Reds news here before I roll out. And start with the catcher position is now locked up for a really long time. It's just really good news, as not only is Tyler Stevenson still going through his period of arbitration toward the Reds again, give him a big extension. Jose Trevino has also signed an extension, I should say, with the Cincinnati Reds, an additional 2 years, $11.5 million is going to be given to Trevino. And this is what I really think about it. I love it. I thought it was a great trade when they made it to bring him in. Obviously, we all know I loved Luke Maley because he was a local kid and I wanted to root for him, but the Reds certainly did a nice job upgrading the backup catcher position. And I think Trevino is going to be a great fit. He's a really good catcher as far as behind the plate. Does a great job of building a rapport, seems like, with the staff already. So I think this is a great move. I think now once you get Stevenson to his long-term deal, whenever that may be, obviously it's going to probably start the next offseason with got a nice pay raise from arbitration this year. But getting Stevenson, Trevino taken care of is maybe not the biggest single position being locked up in Cincinnati this week, obviously, if you go check out Welcome to the Jungle, but still really nice. This is something where you now have an idea of what it's going to be. And Stevenson, obviously being the hitter, a guy that you can plug 1 through 5 in the lineup, is going to help take care of business and give you good at-bats. Then Trevino, who's a decent hitter, but a great defensive catcher, I think is going to be it's a nice tandem. It's going to be great now that you have this for a couple of years. And for him, Trevino really has a chance to kind of be that next Tucker, maybe not Gold Glove caliber, but that next Tucker Barnhart, as far as like just building rapport and being the leader behind the plate and making sure everything's going okay and keeping our pitchers and keeping their pitchers focused and things like that. So I think it's a good move. I've really enjoyed them bringing him on. Shout out to the front office for getting this done. And congrats to Jose Trevino on the pay raise, man. You earned it. So 2 additional years, $11.5 million for him. So that is pretty awesome news. On the pitcher side of things, we now know who the 5th starter is going to be in Cincinnati this year, as Carson Spires today was announced to be the 5th starter. For the time being, I really should say not the season, as Andrew Abbott will be starting the year as well on the IL. And that IL list is starting to look pretty big to start the year for the Reds, which is not a good sign. As far as Spires goes, I won't know if I would say shocked, because what were the other options? It's something Rhett Lauder didn't look like he was ready to go yet. They're obviously not going to give that to Chase Burns. Connor Phillips hasn't really impressed the way that, we all thought he could. And the Reds apparently thought he could when they didn't want to trade him in 23 at the deadline. Not getting over it anytime soon, guys. But Carson Spires has done, I guess, enough to be that guy for them, and that's fine. I'm not sure that I love it, but where they're at, I'm okay with it, and hopefully it's just for a very short time. I think Spires has had a good spring for what all the things I've read, so there's that promise of it, but realistically, let's hope it's a start or two. Andrew Abbott did get to make his debut in spring recently, held his own. So that was really nice to see. I hope that this is a very limited time without Mr. Abbott. And we can get back to our regular baseball here soon. Obviously, we all know I was very much hoping that it would be Brett Lauder in this spot, but I guess Lauder's just not quite ready yet. So I did finally find it as I was blabbering there. So Carson Spires in 3 outings in spring has pitched 10 innings, has a whip under 1 at 0.9, has a 2.70 ERA, has looked good, locating his fastball really well. He's getting outs, and that's all you can really ask for in that circumstance. So let's see what he does. I'm optimistic. He's probably going to be starting if they kind of go the route they normally go, where Hunter starts the 5th day and then Carson Spires starts on that, I guess, 6th game. You're going to see him more after that. Obviously, after the Giants series, you're going to see him in the. I already forgot who the Reds play next. In the Rangers series, probably that Tuesday on April 1st. But we'll see how it all pans out. Hope the best for Carson Spires. I'm not the most optimistic that he is going to be a major league pitcher for this team. And hopefully this is a thing where he kind of shuts me up and he plays pitches really well. All right. So from the starting group, we now head to the bullpen. And boy, there were some comments today that made things a little interesting. Mark Sheldon from MLB.com had an article discussing the state of the Reds pen with the headline, Ashcraft in, Diaz out. And this is fascinating to me. So as you guys know, I admitted on Late Night Reds last Sunday, I believe I do have to eat crow on Alexis Diaz. I think that I was wrong. I fully believed he was going to bounce back this year and be really good. And that has not been the case so far in spring training. He has not looked great, to put it nicely. So in the article, Mark Sheldon goes as far to say, Alexis Diaz can no longer be presumed as the closer after he struggled this spring. Diaz's latest outing came on Tuesday in a minor league game, and he had 2 walks and 2 strikeouts over 1 scoreless inning. Pitching coach Derek Johnson thought it was a step in the right direction, manager Terry Francona said on Thursday morning. I think we still have some work to do. In his previous Cactus League game on Saturday versus the Royals, Diaz was roughed up for 5 earned runs on 3 hits and 3 walks over 1/3 of an inning. So, and then it goes on to say, since he has minor league options remaining, Diaz is possible to open the season at AAA Louisville. When asked if Diaz was still the closer into the season, Francona was non-committal. I think we want to make sure he's got his legs underneath him with delivering and everything, Francona replied. We know what he can do. We just want to make sure he's ready to do it. Those are damning words from the old Tito there. So, as we said, like I said, I was pretty high on Alexis Diaz going to the year. I thought August and September last year, at the end of August throughout September, I thought he was really good. And I thought he was going to be able to carry that into the season after really struggling for a long time. And spring has said otherwise, and apparently the front office and the coaching staff also feels otherwise. So, as we know, I hate the closer. I think it's a stupid rule. I mean, I think it's a stupid idea. One guy, we've gotten this a million times. I don't have to keep going through it. Yada yada yada. People agree with me. People disagree with me. That's fine. But with the situation he's in, maybe this isn't a bad thing. And I think I really like this about the staff. And we talked about this on Late Night Red Sunday with Ben and I. They had no fear. They had no issue, no regrets whatsoever about sending Will Benson to Louisville after he spent 2 full years with the big league club in 23 and 24. So if Alexis Diaz doesn't have it and he still has options, why not send him down there and see if this is the spot for him? See if he can kind of get comfortable, see if he can get back to being the Alexis Diaz he was his all-star year and do his thing. I mean, remember, this was the guy that people were talking about. Maybe the Reds should trade to the Mets when his brother Edwin was hurt. And we said, no. We need to have him on our team. Not looking promising right now, people. So let's see how things shake out there. I hope nothing but the best for Alexis Diaz. I do think when he's on and he is locating his pitches, he is awesome. He has not been doing that there for a little bit while. On that same note, old Douglas Graham Ashcraft has been coming up in the conversation. So this is also from Sheldon. If you've read the article, I'm sorry to be repeating it, but this is just kind of doing a little combo. Without Diaz locked in, Cincinnati has 6 of 8 bullpen spots spoken for with right-handers Amelia Pagan, Scott Barlow, and Tony Santillan, and left-handers Brent Suter, Sam Moll, and Taylor Rogers. For the final 2 spots, 4 relievers remain in camp. Diaz, Graham Ashcraft, and non-roster pitchers in Ian Jabot and Joe Losorza. Another candidate, Leon Rich, who was optioned to Louisville on Thursday morning. Ashcraft, who was competing for a rotation spot, was told Thursday he was being switched to a bullpen rule. He's been part of the starting 5 since 2022. And obviously, former host here at the Riverfront, Joe Farfsing, was pretty open and honest about Graham Ashcraft and that his best situation was probably in the rotation. I mean, it was probably in the bullpen. And, this is the guy that we were talking about with Green and Lodolo, right? Like, he's the third guy. That turns out to not be the case. And I think this is the right move. I think the starting rotation is way too deep for how good he is in certain situations. This is probably the best spot for him. He seems to be pretty excited about the fact that he's going to pitch in the bullpen now. I think it's probably going to be a really good. This is the only chance he has to be on the big league team, right? If he's going to start, he's not going to start in Cincinnati. With what they have right now, who are you going to start him over? I mean, Carson Spires, maybe, but that seems to be spoken for there as well. So with Graham Ashcraft, I think that his stuff is definitely good enough to be a guy that just gets you 3 outs in the 6th inning or so. I think that this is going to be a role he's going to be more comfortable in. And obviously, like we said, first, second time through the order, looks pretty solid. That third time, a little frightening. So I think this is going to be the right move for him. I believe he'll get to that spot where this is his spot. And I know a lot of people seem to think he could be the next closer. And I know there's quite a few of our Riverfront faithful who would love to see it. So let's hope the best for him. I think that this is going to be a really interesting role. And I hope the best. I just want to see him go out there and be successful and be good because he's a really fun guy to watch when he's on, and he's a bulldog. We say it all the time. He's a guy who just wants to take the ball and take care of business. So cannot wait to see how this pans out. But yeah, we know he's going to be in the bullpen. I can't imagine he's not going to make the team. So closer, maybe. I'll stay out of this, but stay my opinion on this. And my final thing for the week, as we know, the Reds are kind of making a lot of announcements, and with GAP coming around the corner, Lance McAllister had tweeted out today, I'm sure he wasn't the only one, but that was the one I saw, that Marty Brennemean is going to be getting a statue at GABP. Yes. So the Cincinnati Reds have announced that a bronze sculpture of Hall of Fame broadcaster Marty Brennemean will be unveiled outside Great American Ballpark on Saturday, September 6, 2025. The sculpture will depict Marty behind the radio microphone as he was for 46 years with the Reds. This sculpture will be a tribute to Marty Brennemean's incredible legacy and represents all the things he means to Red Country, said Phil Castellini. For nearly 5 decades, Marty was the voice of the Reds, bringing unforgettable moments to life for generations of fans. Now his presence outside Great American Ballpark will be a lasting reminder of his passion and his love for this team and this city. Okay. One, yeah, absolutely. He should be honored. I mean, he is, like they said, he's the voice of the Cincinnati Reds. He is a Hall of Famer. And for a lot of us, that was our childhood, was growing up and hearing Marty Brennemean. Now, there's obviously the get off my lawn Marty Brennemean that a lot of people, myself included, weren't very fond of. I did not appreciate, obviously, how he treated one Joey Votto when he was trying to he got a lot of people to turn against him in the city. So it's mixed emotions. And it's really, I mean, obviously, he should be honored. He certainly deserves it. But I want to make sure that this is just kind of not looking at the other part. So here's my other question. They honor Joe Nuxall on the side of the stadium. You drive there, you're on I-75, you're going 75 south, you look to your left, routing third and heading for home is hanging off outside GABP. It's really cool. Love it. Why couldn't they do a Marty and Joe statue here? I mean, I understand Marty was there longer, but it wasn't Joe's fault, obviously. I thought, Marty and Joe are, the Reds duo for a lot of us, like I said, growing up, they called the 90 World Series, they called Griffey's 500th homer. They were there for a lot of moments. And so, and they might not have called Griffey's 500th. No, 400th for sure. I know 400th. I might have had that wrong. Sorry. But I think it's great Marty's getting his own time. I love the statues of the machine and how they're honored. I think that's a really cool thing. And I'm glad the Reds really tap into their history. And I'm all for Marty getting his honor for what he did for the baseball team. He certainly deserves it. Give me a Joe Nuxhall statue. Let's do it, guys. Just make it happen. Let's keep this rolling. I think it would be a really great thing to pay tribute as well. I mean, Joe Nuxhall has a legendary career with the Reds, obviously, as the youngest player to ever pitch player in the major leagues, and as the color commentator on the Reds radio broadcast. So this is cool. And also, just go ahead and let us know when Joey is ready to have his statue as well. Maybe they can put it right next to Marty. Wouldn't that be funny? Just kind of have them hanging out for eternity outside GABP. All right, that's probably a little too much for me, but I had fun with it. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of the Riverfront. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble on for 20 minutes about Reds news and what all. This Sunday will be my last late night Reds. It would mean so much to Ben and I. You just came and hung out with us. Maybe brought a cold one. Let us know what you were drinking in the chat. We love our chat. We're gonna get excited for opening day still, no matter what publication I am recording for. And since it's my last one, and you guys were there with me since day one, I really hope you guys can stop by and hang out and have a good time and leave some messages in the chat. But with that being said, shout outs to Adam Dunn. Shout outs to Wayne Kranchicki, to Lisa Alberto, Wayne Kranchicki, and apologies as always. I forgot Chad's thing. Hold on. Let's do this again, guys. I think I earned that right? Okay. I got to pull it up. I normally have it up, but all right. I'm not editing this, just so we're clear, guys. Just so you guys know. This is going into the episode. So, of course, please head over to YouTube and subscribe and give us a review on your nice podcast app of choice. And we are excited. So shout outs to Adam Dunn. Shouts to Lisa Alberto, Wayne Kranchicki, and Eli Cash. For Tim Daniel, this is for myself. This is Tim Daniel saying, so long, Cincinnati. And oh my God, if I could have butchered that any harder, I'm so sorry.